Alright, and we're live. Finally. The day has come. I'm finally not talking shit. How's that? We're gonna start with that. Alright. All y'all who probably know me as someone who likes to fucking talk. Alright? So we're gonna start off like this. We're gonna try to start it off as honest as possible. And I'm gonna tell you what's up. I'm gonna tell you about what my plans are here with the podcast or whatever this is, vlog, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't know. I scream obscenities. I am completely irate at certain, subjects, whatever. Everyone's got their bias. Everyone has their opinions, whatever you want to call it. But all I want y'all to know is that I'm now finally not talking shit. And what I mean by that is anyone who has spoke to me in the last couple months has heard me say, "Oh, guess what I'm doing? I'm starting a podcast. Oh, guess what? Podcast." And you know what? Also, what they hear me talk about is nothing but podcasts. Fucking what the fuck, right? Like Joe Rogan, basically him and the people he's, anyone he's brought on the fucking show. And that got me started on that. But I've got my ideas too, you know what I mean? I'm my own person. And not only that, of course I'm my own person. But what I'm trying to say is that, there are people who have, they have the ability to be on their own platform, to be able to do what it is that they want to do whenever they want to do it. And as we know, since we're going through this trying times right now with COVID, there's not a lot of people that have that luxury. And I'm one of those people. Granted, I only work 4 days a week, 32 hours a week. But that's what I need. That's what I need to live. That's one less day than most people, but I've got it covered. I've got other things in the works. I've got, I consider myself a fucking country street entrepreneur here. I grew up in a suburb of Boston until I was almost 10. And then moved to Vermont. My family moved me and my sister to Vermont, and I got given, up to being a ward of the state, for adoption again, or whatever you would say. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one thing. I'm adopted also. I've made Vermont my home. I live here with my family in southern Vermont, and I love it here. As much as it pains me to say that it's completely and utterly devoid of what you would consider culture if you were someone that is living in a city or what have you, an urban area, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I like it because I do have my freedoms out here. I own my own house. Granted, it still belongs to the bank. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like I'm free to a certain extent. I can do what I want. So, I want to be able to give the perspective of someone who works in. I do work in the retail industry. I work in a grocery store. So I do want to tell you that I'm out for those 4 days a week, 8+ hours a day, sometimes less, sometimes more, whatever it is, with a mask on, just like the rest of everyone, the rest of you. You know what I'm saying? And I want to be able to discuss these things and how it's affecting me and my family. And I've got 2 young kids, and what I see, it's how it's affecting my coworkers, how I see it's affecting my community, not only mine locally, which because I do travel, I commute 30 miles, 32 miles or so, to work every day because where I live is more rural than usual, and they can't pay you that much, so you gotta travel to make that money. So you know. There's lots of things on the table. There's tons of things that we could discuss, and I want to be able to discuss all of them. And I have, people that know me know that I've got some very, very, very not only contradicting views because I can be very liberal at times, but also I can be very conservative at times too. But that also that's a whole episode in itself. But I do want to be able to express that, you know, uh, everything I say you may not agree with. Well, too bad for you. I've been told my whole life, life's not fair because it's not. It's just not fair. Um, Whether you are, you know, a different race than your neighbor or your best friend or your wife, your husband, your sister, your brother, I don't know. Whether you're a different sexuality, whether you, you know, uh, I don't know. There's tons of differences in the world right now, and I'm 35 years old now. Uh, I feel like I've lived beyond my years. I've got some funny anecdotes we'll be getting into later on in these episodes. But I do want to say that um, I'm so glad I'm finally doing this. I'm so glad I'm finally doing this because um, when I sit and I listen to podcasts all day or whenever most of the day. Let's be honest here. It's most of the day, um, which drives my wife nuts. But I always have this feeling where I'm like, yo, I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to do that. I want to be able to have my perspective because there's so many people that have this awesome giant platform, and I know how that I do understand that the way social media algorithms work is if you're not on social media, if you're not posting all the time, then you're not going to get anywhere. You're not going to be put into the algorithm. So I want to be able to. My plan is to bring people on that I know locally. These are comparatively to probably your life, nobody's. But these people probably have more in common with you than the Joe Rogans, the Jordans Petersons, the Ben Shapiro's, whatever. I'm name dropping. Obviously, I'm name dropping. But I want to be able to be on that platform too. Everyone should be able to be on that platform. Because we all have this voice. Just like you're on Twitter, or you're on Instagram, or you're on Facebook, or TikTok, or YouTube, or I don't know. There's so many things out there that I don't even know. I'm so in the dark when it comes to fucking what I feel is almost everything. Almost everything. Because, I held off on a smartphone. Not only could I not afford it when they started coming out, they started becoming more like day to day. Hey, you needed a smartphone because hey, if you don't have a computer, then fuck you. You're not going to be able to like fill out job applications, or you're not going to be able to, uh, do something for work, maybe, or you know, maybe you forgot how to read maps. Maybe you forgot how to remember telephone numbers. Maybe, I don't know, but that's, I wasn't able to catch on. Not only was I very conspiracy theory in my 20s, but, I don't know. I was on a lot of psychedelics as well at that time. So, I mean, I felt like I didn't need that shit. And now I'm kind of feeling like I need to do the same thing. But even though I feel that way, I do want to make it a point that I want to be able to be on this platform. I don't give a shit what fucking feedback I get. You know why? I live in the fucking boondocks of Vermont, bro. What are you gonna do? I don't read fucking comments. You know why? I'm fucking busy. I have, before COVID hit, I was starting to get my, what I call DJ business, back up and running. It's not really a DJ business. It's just me with some turntables or a DJ controller, and I just DJ. I just do what I do. I've been DJing. I got taught how to DJ late 2003, going into 2004, and I've been DJing for, over 15 years now. And I really started to get that going. I know you guys can't really see it, but there's these posters back here. These. And that was the gigs that I was starting to get finally in the town that I moved to 5 years later after I bought the house here. I don't know anyone here. So I made the connections myself by being able to be accessible to any opportunity that was to arise. And what I mean by that is when I got hired at the place I got hired after quitting what I thought was my career after, getting into retail, after like 8 years, almost, 8 years I'd say, yeah. And I quit. I quit my position of being a manager. I was making almost $20 an hour. And granted, that may not be fantastic to you, but around here, that's fucking awesome because I was able to provide for my fucking family and not feel like a piece of shit. I got other shit going on. As you can see, I've got this t-shirt on, Maine's Honest Herb. I'm super into cannabis. CBD, cannabis, THC, whatever you want to call it. That's my shit. I'm a cultivator. I grow that shit. Why? Because I want to, and it's legal in my state. Not only that, but I was able to get my wife convinced to get her medical card so she would not be an opiate recipient or an opiate, not recipient, but user for her back pain, so I mean, that's fantastic. Now I am a caretaker. I'm a marijuana caretaker. I'm a legal caretaker. So it's fantastic. I love it. I love what I do. Unfortunately, COVID has really put a damper on all of it because my wife and I were going to these conventions and stuff, and we were starting to get our foot in the door in the community locally and get recognized for what we do, the growing and the quality and the variety, all of it. So I mean, it's really, 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 really disheartening that when you feel all your freaking hard work that you've been working for, and it may not be every day, it may not be every second, it's whenever you get the spare time, it's whenever you have a free second, it's all of that shit. And what I mean by that is, if you have a passion, if you have a fucking passion, you need to follow that. these days, there aren't a lot of things to be passionate about. Let's be real. You know, politics are fucked. Social standings, just, you know, from human being to fucking human being is fucked. Um, let's see. The environment's fucked. The that and that like the environment, I think, really, that's everything. The whole world environment. You know, global warming, what they used to call the greenhouse effect when I was growing up. Um, uh, let's see. There's just I can't even go on. You know, there's specific things within the subcategories, let's call them, within those things that are, you know, get you and me and all the other people going bah. But you know what? I'm fucking done with that. I'm not fucking playing games anymore. I am guessing that everyone can see my Colombian flag here. I don't know if you know what that is, but that's what that is. Um, I'm a proud Colombian. I was adopted from there when I was almost 2 years old. You know, long story short, adopted, then, you know, let's put it this way. I was on my own at a very young age. Okay, we'll put it like that. On my own at a very young age. Give me a second, I gotta spark this and bring some more beer here. So this right here is a strain that I grew called Space Grass. Shout out to Closet Medicine, a crazy Cuban guy who likes to grow peppers and weed, along with other things too. Don't get me wrong. Dude, it is really cool, chill. You know, what I would say my neighbor, because here in Vermont, since we're so rural compared to the rest of you out there, you know, the next town over or 2 towns over is like still your neighbor. This is space grass. Don't even know the hybrid. Don't even know the strains that it's mixed with. I don't know none of that. Who gives a shit? Get you fucking ripped. Fucking ripped. Well, so, what can I say? Well, where was I going with that? Nowhere. That was fucking pointless. Anyway, what I was about to say is I'm not playing games. And what I meant by, and what I was trying to get to by pointing this out was growing up adopted with a white in a white family, you know, and then growing up, you know, not really growing up, but, you know, going through kindergarten, first, second grade, and then having no, like, I went to third grade, but it was the end of third grade, from what I remember, and we lived with my aunt when we first moved up to Vermont. That's what I remember. And me just being different. Not only was I from a different state when I moved, obviously, but I was a different race. And, you know, as people who have grown up in an urban area, like I mean a real urban area, metropolitan area, city, it obviously depends where you are, but I know that from my experience, I didn't have any racial tension growing up in Boston. I mean, granted, it was Brookline, Massachusetts. Okay, let's say that. So in 1990, let's say late 1990, 1989, 1990, when I'm 4 or 5, when I can still remember being on a playground or whatever, going to kindergarten, um, I never really had any racial tension. I remember that I got in trouble once because I called a girl in the playground let's be real. It was a Asian girl, and I called her plate face because she had a weird looking face to me, and I didn't know that it was. They made it. I'm pretty sure they made it racial, but I don't think I knew it was racial. I just thought that she looked weird. Okay, boom, cancel me. Boom, canceled already. Anyway, we're only 20 minutes in, and I'm already canceled. Well, who gives a shit? Anyway, this is going to be trailing off and off and off and off and off and off. I'm not playing any games because, long story short, anyway, because growing up and being different, and then when people are fucking mean to you for that shit, and you go, hey, I'm 5, I'm 6, I don't know, but whatever fucking age you are, I'm different, and this motherfucker over here is fucking with me because I'm different, and the grown up goes, oh, that sucks. Well, there's not much I can do about that except tell you that life's not fair. And if you get upset at everyone for every little mean thing they say to you, on you. And I'm not saying boo-hoo me. What I mean is that it's the mentality that you get from people telling you these things over and over again. Like, maybe they're not ready to address the racial issue in their school or in their camp or wherever it is that you are. But they're not willing to do it on that day. Not with you. It's not you this time. Because it wasn't as important. He didn't put his fucking finger in your asshole. He didn't tell you to suck his cock. He didn't whatever. Or she. I don't know. For you. But what I mean is that the people in my life when I was racially attacked, when I was very young, they didn't give a shit. At least that's what it looked like to me because nothing ever happened. It was just, oh boy. Well, I didn't hear it, so there's not much I can do. That's what it was always told to me. I didn't hear that, so sorry. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is that no. I'm saying no. I'm saying no to all of it because, I'm fucking fed up. I'm tired. I'm very tired. And I shouldn't be 35 years old feeling like I'm fucking fed up. Like so fed the fuck up. Just fed up. With everything. It doesn't matter what. Because it's always the loud minority like me, that upsets the status quo. And it's not always for the good, it's not always for the bad, but it's not always, for the good. And it's, sometimes it is for the bad. And that's what I'm saying, is that where we're headed right now is I feel like I'm getting alienated even where we're headed. Because I may not be on the top of the list of the whatever pyramid it is now. You have to have 10 things check marks checked off on your checklist for your fucking issue to be heard now. That's what it is. I've been saying for the last couple of weeks that the world's on fire, right? Like literally on fire. Like I don't even know because I remember hearing about the Amazon in Brazil being on fire and then never hearing anything about having it be extinguished. So as far as I know, they could probably be burning still. I don't know. Um, but the world's on fire, right? And we all have issues. We all have issues. All of us do. But what's missing is that we are all humans, right? We're all the same race. Or at least, let's put it this way, we're all the same species of humanoid, right? We're all Homo sapiens, right? So why can't we put that fire out? Like the main one. So I've been using this analogy of, okay, your house is on fire. You've got a garage that's not connected to your house. You've got a little shed that's not connected to your house. You've got another one. You've got a, pool house. You've got whatever it is. Your house is on fire. Let's say all of it's on fire. All of it. And the fucking fire department shows up to your house and you go, wait a second. Before you put my house out, let's put that little shit out first, the littlest one, and then we'll take care of the rest after, and then we'll save the big, like my house for last, where all of my belongings are, where my fucking family sleeps, all my belongings are, where my memories, most of my, if you've been in that house obviously for long enough to create memories for that, then yes. Like, I've been saying since I was 13. I don't even know. This is what I remember being 13, maybe. I don't know. I just use that as a freaking rough estimate because I was in rehab by the time I was 15. And I don't mean rehab as in like I was a fucking heroin junkie or whatever. My parents, who are baby boomers who adopted me, caught me smoking weed, and they sent me to rehab. No, that was when I was like 14 and a half. No, I was 15. And they sent me to rehab. This was after I got put into state's custody because somehow, recently, my mom kind of clarified it for me, where it was they had given up their parental rights to the custody of me, so my custody went to the state of Vermont. But like at first, I still lived with my parents. Like, yeah, there was, a court case, and I was not living with them, immediately. I was in a foster home for a couple of days before my court date, and then so on and so on. And I went to a couple of places before going back home to try it again, I guess, was the reasoning. Sorry for the shaking, guys. You're on my DJ table here. But so I do remember being able to, have complex thoughts, whatever you want to say. Lots of people do. I'm not saying I'm the only one. Don't get it twisted. What I mean is, by the time I was 15, I already knew that God wasn't real, blah, 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 blah. And I don't mean God as in the spiritual sense, like if you read the Bible and you understand what the fuck it really fucking means, then yes. But what I mean, like, no, then I know. I mean, but what I mean, like, is God as in you go to a church that is just some regular old congregation, and or maybe you have a parent or a family member that you go with, and their idea of God is kind of like, it's like Jesus Christ is like the fucking, like, no, not Jesus Christ. I mean, I'm gonna have to edit this. There's like old guy in the sky, like that old myth, like the old guy in the sky myth of, like, there's a God who's the incarnation that you think of when you close your eyes and you look in your mind's eye and you make the picture is like an old white dude in white robes with a white beard sitting on clouds. That's what I'm saying. So fuck the shit that I just said. Whatever. I'm here to make mistakes. I don't care. I'm on this planet to make mistakes and learn from them. That's what I'm here to do. I don't care anymore. That's what I'm saying, is I don't care anymore. You can make fun of me. You know what? I don't care, because I've already been made fun of. Like, there are going to be stories that I tell. But, okay. Anyway. So, I've been saying since I was 13 that I don't understand why men and women are always so upset. Why there's always this dynamic of getting pitted versus each other, versus sexes, versus the races, versus everything. Because at the end of the fucking day when you go to sleep, you are a human being. Right? Being. Not being. Being. And what that means is that every single human being wants the same exact thing. At least, no, that is true. It doesn't matter how you get that pleasure or the happiness or get to that place, but everyone wants to be there. They want to have happiness. They want to be loved. They want to share their love. They want to share their ideas. They want to share their knowledge. They want to share everything. Hey, I cooked a fucking biscuit. How about you have some? I want to share it with you because I like you. Boom. We're connecting, okay? We do that all the time. And to say that we can't because we're different on any kind of stupid other level is asinine. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. It's the stupidest thing. It's the stupidest thing. It's the stupidest thing. It's the stupidest thing in the world. Stupid. It doesn't matter what you fucking believe, dude. And unfortunately, the world doesn't work that way. The world is cynical. The world is jaded. The world is completely twisted and backwards. It's like we're on opposite day every single day. But you know what? It's you. It's the individual that can make the difference in your own life. And what I mean by that, obviously, is what I'm saying. It's literal. Like, if you feel like you need to do something, you didn't fucking do it. It's just as plain as like, oh, I have to pee. That feeling that you're like, oh, I have to pee. And that it's also like you get the same kind of feeling when you get motivated about something, like me. And that's what I'm doing right now. And I don't care what it takes anymore. I don't care who hears me. I don't care what I'm doing, because I love being alive, and I love my family, and I love everyone. And it's taken a long time to realize that. It's taken a long time to admit that. It's taken a long time to find a place in my life and a balance in my own fucking reality, which is inside my own brain.